Hey everyone, this is Gunmaster95, and today I thought I would review Splash Damage's latest release, Brink. Every review that I've seen has been very one-sided, so I'd like to give a balanced and in-depth review of the game. Before I begin, I would like to say that due to some technical issues with the PC version, I've had to record all the footage on the lowest settings, and it's still pretty crappy frame rate. So don't base the graphics of the game on this video whatsoever. It actually looks really great on highest settings and on 360 and PS3.
You ready for this, brothers? An hour ago I was making my kids breakfast.
I would like to begin with the story, which is possibly the worst part of the game. You can play as one of two sides: the security, who defend the Ark and its leaders, the Founders, or the Resistance, a group fighting against the security for not very well established reasons. The Ark is a giant city in the middle of the ocean, and when the ocean's waters rose suddenly, almost everyone on the mainland died. The few remaining people fled to the Ark, destroying its delicate balance and self-sustaining nature, but the two sides fight for control, and it's not exactly clear why, I guess for the resources on it, but long story short, or should I say short story short, Brink's story is incredibly short, or rather, the campaign took me about 3 hours to beat. There are actually 10 missions for each faction, but they're the same 10 maps, no matter which side you play on, so it isn't very different. However, they continue to be fun in multiplayer, so if you play them on that, it's fantastic. Then there are the 4 training missions. Each one has 3 ranks, giving you less time to complete the objectives in the mission with each rank that you advance, but they're all easily completed within 1 to 5 minutes. The game was also supposed to have a very versatile customization system, which for the most part it has. You unlock new armors and weapons by leveling up and completing the challenges. The only issue is that the challenges are incredibly easy to complete, and the level cap is only 20, meaning I unlocked everything after only about 6 to 7 hours of gameplay, and I had nowhere left to go. But the actual armor customization is alright. You can pick several types of armors and colors for each slot. The weapons are limited depending on what body type you are, either heavy, medium, or light, but most of the heavy's unique LMGs have huge spread and do very little damage, which leads to you emptying 200 rounds into only 2 or 3 guys, then having to reload, which takes a really long time. Snipers are also an issue because you only get 10 to 20 rounds of ammo maximum, and they fire really slowly and don't do that much damage, so it takes like 2 to 4 headshots to take down a light body type, while taking more like 8 on a heavy, which means you run out of ammo after only getting a few kills. As you level up, you can also pick abilities, which were a nice touch, and they actually got pretty creative with some, from revive grenades to caltrop grenades. Now to the actual gameplay. This is definitely the strongest area of the game by a long shot. The only issues I had was that there wasn't really a tutorial, and it took me a while to figure out the exact controls on my own, and mainly like exactly how smart worked. There are 4 basic classes. There's Soldier, Medic, Operative, and Engineer, which all do the jobs you would expect them to. However, they each get unique buffs and abilities that make it really useful to work together as a team. One thing that is somewhat lacking is the game modes. They have no conventional ones like Team Deathmatch or Capture the Flag, which would be kinda cool. Now, the Smart system is essentially a mechanic that allows you to smoothly move over the map. Light body types can do things like jumping off walls, while medium types can hoist themselves up on objects, and heavy types are limited to only vaulting objects. This limitation may sound like a bad thing, but the simple ability to vault a railing or box incredibly improves gameplay. I think the Smart system should probably be used at least to some extent in every FPS made in the future, purely because of how smooth it makes things. Like, no more jumping to get up that little 6-inch bump in the ground, or some small object that's just big enough to mess you up and get you stuck on it. Then we get to the technical issues. As far as I can tell, these only apply to PC and don't happen on the 360 or PS3, but there are horrible performance issues, lag spikes and shadow rendering issues, mainly with ATI graphics cards, and it almost seems to me like they didn't test the game at all when they ported it to PC. They just kind of did and then released it. But they are aware and attempting to patch these issues. They released their first patch today, which fixed a few things, but it would have been nice if it fixed a little more. Overall, I think the game was a great idea. It's just somewhat lacking, but they have announced that a free DLC is coming sometime in June that provides more weapons and armors, and mainly missions, which fixes that issue. So if you can't decide whether or not to get it, if you're on 360 or PS3, I'd say go for it. Single player gets dry pretty fast and boring, but the multiplayer is still incredibly entertaining, and I'm maybe 15 hours in now, and I could play it forever. If you're on PC, I would wait until they patch it and see how that goes, because it is severely messed up. And it's really hard to play on highest quality because you get like 3 frames per second. But I hope this review gave you some perspective on Brink and whether or not to buy it. I plan on reviewing a lot more games in the coming months, so subscribe and comment, and I'll see you guys later.